everyone, it's Rachel, and in this video I'm going to be completing a new polymer clay challenge. I actually got this idea from a comment on one of my recent videos where the person said to take an animal and then an object or a food and try blending the two together. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I went ahead and found a list of animals and dessert foods which I've put in alphabetical order, and then I'm going to use the random number generator on Google to find out which animals and foods I'm blending together and making out of clay. So I hope you all enjoy this video and let's get started. So here we go. I'm going to find out what my first creation is. Here's my list of animals and I've got the random number generator. So, oh, okay, it's landed on a 5, which is, oh, a dog is the number 5, and then I just need to work out what dessert it's going to go with. So there's 37 desserts, so I just got to change that one. And the dessert is a 14, a dog fortune cookie. Okay, so now the next creation I'm going to be making is a lamb, and then change that, number 30, a lamb pumpkin pie. These are sounding, I don't know, crazy. And the last charm design is going to be a, oh, what was it? 26. A polar bear. Okay, that's cute. A polar bear. Oh, change that. And then 24 for the dessert. A polar bear milkshake. Okay, we can do that. So first off, to give me an idea of what I wanted my designs to look like, I did a few little sketches on Procreate on my iPad, and I just worked out what I wanted each charm to look like. I'd say the hardest one to design was the lamb pumpkin pie, because I feel like the main feature of a lamb is the wool around the face. So I designed it to have a few little blobs of cream on the top, but we'll see how it goes. So first up, I'm going to be attempting to make the dog fortune cookie. I took this Ecru color by Premo and I rolled it down with my rolling pin to make it nice and flat. I then took a round cookie cutter and I pressed it into the clay and I removed the excess from around the outsides. The sheet of clay was still quite thick, so I just stretched it out with my fingers to make it a bit thinner. Next, I used a toothbrush to create some texture on the clay, and I also added some shading using a brown chalk pastel and a fluffy brush, which I just dusted on. To create the shape of the fortune cookie, I folded the clay in half and then I pressed down the edges so that they were secure, and then I took the side of one of my tools and just kind of wrapped the clay around until I got the shape that I wanted. Moving on to the face, I firstly created 2 indents where I wanted the eyes to go, and then I placed in 2 balls of brown clay. I then made the mouth by attaching on 2 small U shapes and also a little pink tongue. I added a small piece of brown clay for the nose, and then on the sides I added some cheeks with some pink clay. I attached 2 triangles to the top of the fortune cookie to kind of look like the ears, because I imagined the points of the fortune cookie to be the ears of the dog. I made this little white tag with a pink love heart, and I just attached this onto the bottom of the design, and I also went ahead and added an eye pin before baking it in my oven. So next up we have the lamb pumpkin pie, and this is definitely the more challenging charm of the 3. I firstly took this orangey brown coloured clay and I shaped it into a pie shape so that it looked like a triangle. I rolled down a sheet of Ecru coloured clay by Premo again and placed it onto my little pie filling slice and just wrapped this around as the crust, cutting off the excess as I went. To make the sides nice and smooth, I then just cut them away with my blade. Next, to add some texture to the crust, I took a toothbrush and I gently patted the clay. I then went ahead and created the edge of the crust or the pastry by rolling a coil of the clay and then twirling it together. I placed this against the side of the pumpkin pie slice and then cut it to size. Next up, it was time to make the face, so I made 2 indents where I wanted the eyes to go, and then I placed in 2 balls of dark brown clay. I then added on the nose and the mouth, and then also 2 balls of pink clay on either side for the cheeks. I created some teardrop shapes for the ears, which I decided to flop over the sides of the lamb's face, and then it was time to make the little dollops of cream to go on top of the pumpkin pie, and this was going to try and look like the lamb's wool. I made my dollops of cream by pushing some white clay through a star piping tip and then twisting it around on itself before trimming off the excess. In the end, I made 4 of these and then I attached them on top of the charm. I went ahead and added an eye pin, and then it was time to bake it in my oven according to my package's instructions. Lastly, we have the polar bear milkshake, and I feel like this design is probably the most similar to something I would normally make. I started off by marbling some white and vanilla coloured clay together to try and get a swirly looking milkshake, although the colours are very similar, so it is quite hard to tell on camera. To marble the clay, I just twisted the 2 colours around and I rolled it into a ball, and then just kept mixing and rolling until I was happy with how swirly it was. Then I formed it into the shape of a cup. Next up, I took some translucent clay and I rolled this into a long coil, which I then attached around the top and the bottom of the cup, and this is for the rim. I then made the 2 ears for the polar bear and attached them to the top of the cup. I added some brown balls of clay for the eyes and then attached the snout between the eyes. The little mouth is also made out of brown clay, and I attached a small piece for the nose as well. To finish off the face, I also popped on some 2 small balls of pink clay for the cheeks, and lastly I added a purple straw which I placed in the centre. I then added an eye pin before going ahead and baking it in the oven. So here are what all 3 charms look like once they are completely finished and have been glazed with UV resin. So here's the little dog fortune cookie I made. I definitely wouldn't have made this charm if it wasn't for the random number generator, because when I put animal faces on my charms, I usually do a cat face rather than a dog, so this was a little bit of a different challenge. This is what the finished lamb pumpkin pie looks like. Again, I wouldn't usually turn a charm into something lamb themed. This was definitely the more challenging of the 3 charms, just because I found it difficult to actually make it look like a lamb without including the wool as such. And then of course I have the polar bear milkshake, which I found the easiest design to create, and although it's quite a simple charm, I think it's easy to tell what it's supposed to be. So I really enjoyed doing this challenge, and it was something a little bit different. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for lots more crafty videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!